to talk about the mechanics of tents. Here's, I don't know if you can all see this, but there's a tent going up. And the same families, and this I think is why we were such a uniform group. Once you were in, your space was automatically reserved for you. And you could always come back whenever you wanted.
Was it by the year?
Hmm?
You had a lease for a year for the tent space?
People came down pretty much every Memorial Day weekend
Oh, just for the summer then?
for the summer. And then we would, on the tour that we do, that Aaron and I do, people wonder, well, how did families get to come down here and spend all summer on the beach? Well, what it was mom and the kids during the week. And then on the weekend, the dads would come down. And a lot of those dads would also take a 2-week vacation during that time.
And Mike was the male on the beach for
What?
all of.
Yeah, they just liked the idea. I wasn't that great of a swimmer, but they just liked the idea that there was a.
They didn't know that.
Yeah, they did.
He was lifeguard.
Which I'm going to bring up how I got the lifeguard job. Because I wasn't that good of a swimmer, and I didn't have to compete with anybody because I was being hired by the management company that the Irvine company hired. And so I had just to pass the basic qualifications for the city of Newport Beach without competing anybody. And I had to swim 1,000 meters in X amount of time. Now, I never came close to swimming 1,000 meters, so I thought, I'm gonna get this great job or not. So they drive me, the Newport chief drives me down to the ocean. I go out through the surf, and now I start my 1,000-meter swim. Really nervous about it. And I start swimming, and I'm getting tired, and I tread water and get up to get my bearings, and the houses are flying by. Mm-hmm. The current in my direction. So that's how I captured the job as a lifeguard. As long as I'm telling the lifeguard story, then Crystal Cove didn't need a full-time lifeguard because of different situations would happen. And I thought, I've been a beach lifeguard for 4 summers. I'm a beach lifeguard. So I'm gonna go down and compete. Carol likes this story. I'm gonna go down and compete and work for the city of Newport Beach. I think I knew in my mind that I'm crazy. So how that worked, there was a boat here and a boat here, 1,000 meters, and there was like 60 of us. And these are all college swimmers, and I think I knew what I was getting into. So now they shoot the gun, and go out through, and there's elbows and splashing, and I get to the boat, and I turn and see the other boat, and they're getting out of the water.
What?
I got in the boat. I got in the boat. And my last lifeguard story is, I called a friend of mine. I said, you know, Chuck, he says, I didn't think you would, because Chuck was a really good swimmer and he knew I wasn't. He said, but we're hiring, come on down and you can take the test and see. And so I do that, and a guy named Bob Hag, we had to swim 8 laps of a 50-meter pool in X amount of time. And a guy named Bob Hagman was timing me, and I finished my 4th lap, and Hagman yells down, come on, Fenderson, 2 laps to go. So I finished the 2nd lap, and then I had a good time because he started showing the watch around, and now we're in the locker room and they're calling out names and times, and they said Fenderson, because I saw the watch, I knew it. And to this day, I don't know if Hagman cheated for me or if he just miscounted. Now for me, the point of that story is, I parlayed working for what was called then the Southeast Recreation and Park District in Norwalk, Santa Fe Springs, and I parlayed that into a city manager's job. So thanks to Hagman either cheating or miscounting, I ended up as a good career as a city manager.
Through the park system.